for me, a new world to be a part of. So I'm trying to err on the side of protecting everyone's privacy. So for this meeting, I am recording it. But when I'm going through the chat function to look at people's questions, I just won't say anybody's name. And people are still trickling in. And because I have the waiting room happening there, I might just sort of stop talking and then let people in. So I'm gonna start with, hello everybody. I hope that you are well as you can be. This is a very intense experience, I think, for all of us. And I just met with a much smaller group of our parents who speak Spanish, and we talked a little bit about the challenges that are facing all of the parents in this experience, which is that we are cooped up at home, some of us with more than one child, many of us with our own work to do, and just figuring out what is a schedule that works for your family, and figuring out how to navigate when you're in a bad mood. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, right? Like some days are darker than others, and we want to protect our loved ones from our bad moods, and sometimes we wish our kids would protect us from their bad moods, but somebody has to be the grown-up in the situation, I guess. So anyway, I just this group is too big for us to sort of open it up and talk to each other about how we're coping. But I really do hope that you all have people in your lives that you're able to share with about the things that are hard about this, and get ideas from each other, and just vent, because sometimes we just need to process this whole thing. So I have a list. I didn't get a whole lot of questions actually prior to this meeting, so I'll address. There were two that I got, but then I think a lot of us saw the news conference with Governor Newsom yesterday, so I imagine that there are a whole lot of questions about stuff that he had to say. So I think I'll just launch into that. So because the one of the questions I got from a parent was, what about our kids' stuff that's on campus still? And like, how do we get that? And it's true, because I've been there a couple times since this started, and it feels like Chernobyl. Like, you go to school and it's everybody's, the bulletin boards still have work on it from January or February. There's jackets on the playground and lost and found. I mean, there's definitely nobody was expecting that we weren't going back. So I imagine that the best way to do that is to sort of stagger people's entry into the school building, and I'm going to wait, I think, until May for that to happen. It sounds like, sorry, somebody just was in the waiting room. It sounds like the shelter in place might start to loosen a little bit in May, or by the end of April. So, but that's just something I don't have an exact answer for. And it's something also that we're grappling with in trying to figure out how we're going to pack up all our stuff so that we can move back to the new school building. So stay tuned and know that, yes, opening up the building for parents to come in and get students' items will happen. Yeah, so yesterday there was a press conference, and Governor Newsom gave sort of 6 criteria that he would be looking at in terms of coming up with a plan to safely lift shelter in place. And mention something about like modified school days or who knows, right? So here's what I have to say about that, which is, first of all, a big giant who knows. The one thing that we can be certain of is that it will be different than what we know already, right? So if there will be modified days, I don't know about that. I don't think that as a system there's any way to lower class size overnight, and though that would be awesome if we could, but that's not going to happen. So will there be staggered days? Maybe. Will we figure out how to have smaller groups of kids go to the cafeteria to eat? Probably. Definitely we are going to have to sort of create or enhance the culture that we already have of parent support at the school, just in thinking about how to really disinfect and keep our schools completely clean. There's really no way that 2 custodians are going to be able to clean all the bathrooms, empty all the garbages, do all their regular run things, and on top of that, sanitize every doorknob and desk, et cetera, in the classroom. I think that the first sort of plan that I would want to put in place is like how to get a cadre of parent volunteers to help with that stuff, so that when we do come back together, that we are really being more conscientious around disinfecting things. So be ready for that. I do have to say that last night, as I was falling asleep and sort of thinking about this meeting, and I was thinking about that, it was actually sort of gave me a little ray of hope in terms of realizing like this is going to end. It's not how we imagined we would be moving back from the Santa Fe site, but it is what's going to be happening, and there's some hope to it, right? That we're moving back to a amazing, beautiful, new, safe, earthquake-safe building, and it'll be a fresh start after, I think, this sort of unexpected, unforeseen, traumatic event that we're all going through. So I felt a little hopeful, actually, thinking about that. So I'm going to go through now the chat function because I see there are a few questions. Somebody is asking if there's a chance that we won't be able to move back to the new building in the fall. And no, we absolutely are moving. We have the moving van was scheduled for the first week of June. That might get pushed back a little bit. I'm still trying to figure out how to safely get all my teachers there and to pack. Yeah, so there are logistical things that need to be figured out, and this was not how we wanted to do it. We envisioned that this would be like a collective effort, and we would have parent volunteers, and maybe go into each other's classrooms and help each other out. But we just have to follow the guidelines that the public health department is putting out, and do our best. But at the end of the day, we are moving. There's I believe the district is going to be using the Santa Fe site for some special ed programming. That's the last that I heard about it. So so there's that. Okay, let me go back to questions. So there was a message from OUSD suggesting summer lessons and possible after-school education support in the fall. Would these programs be available to all students? I don't have the answer to that. I think that the priority is going to be for older students for credit recovery. And this is, students in high school who are, looking at having a transcript that gets them into college and prepared to go to college. So my my suspicion would be that the Glenview is going to just not probably have access to that. But I don't know. And we are literally figuring this out as we go along. There's a question about packing. Will you include the volunteer librarians in packing, or will the school district move the library now? You guys have all the questions that keep me up at night. So I really hope that we can have the library volunteers help with that, but of course, I can't put my families at risk. I can't, ask people to be at risk. So I'm just, I'm not even sure like who in the district I'm supposed to be asking for guidance from around this. I have asked my boss, but as you can imagine, there are a lot of other fires right now in the school district in terms of, there are, not at Glenview. At Glenview, I think we're doing very, very well, but in other schools, there are, families that we're having a very hard time staying in touch with, and that's more the priority of district leadership right now. So I'm sort of like, I don't mean to be a pain, but like we have this thing happening at the end of May. And I'm, keeping my eye on the calendar. So, well, I will keep you posted as things happen. Someone's asking, you mentioned the possibility of modified school days. Was that for this year or next? So there is no more school this year. That has been decided by the governor. So the modified school days that I mentioned were Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, mentioned in his press conference yesterday, and I don't think that any school district has had a chance to think that one through. So, I think the closing of schools is impacting a lot of things, right? And part of it is the economy and the workforce, because there's a whole lot of parents who are not able to work because they're at home taking care of their kids. And that just has a major, major domino effect on every aspect of California's life. So we're just sort of in this state of suspended day by day, right? Take it day by day and trying to plan without really being able to predict the future. Okay, I'm gonna go back to chat. So are Miss Jacobs or Mr. Reza planning on posting more videos? Those were great, and we would love to have more. Yes, they are. We're sort of figuring out what's the best way to push them out. We also have Miss Reyes, the art teacher, has been making videos, but she's been pushing them out through teachers, not on the YouTube channel. So I think that, we started that YouTube channel without really knowing like, what is distance learning gonna look like for Glenview? So we have a few different things going on in ways that we're getting videos to people. So I will talk to them about it and figure out if they've done more and they're just not on the YouTube channel. And that, part of it is just like maintaining that channel and uploading things. But I will give them that feedback that those were great. And I'll take just a minute to say that the support and feedback from the parent community has been everything to our teachers, and they're working so hard, and they are as lost and confused as every single one of us. This was, again, not what any of us expected to do. And I just want to tell you that the positive feedback that you're giving is really, 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 really helpful. And so thank you so much for, as a community, being so generous with sharing positive feedback, and so kind with your questions or maybe concerns also. I really appreciate that on behalf of the teachers. We have a parent who's sharing that the Santa Fe CAN, which is the neighborhood group, their education committee got notice yesterday from OUSD confirming a possible co-location of urban Montessori with the SPED program, depending on whether another charter school, Roses in Concrete, appeal to the state is denied or not on July 8th. So as far as I know, because I was one of the days that we did a Chromebook distribution, there was a walkthrough of the site, and special ed was going to get the whole main building and the what are now the TK and kinder classrooms, and that the bank of portables where Learning Spot and Adventure Time was the offer to the urban Montessori charter, and that's really all I know about it. Somebody is asking for a virtual announcement of readathon results. That would be great. Yeah, well, we can start the school year with a pie in my face, so that's cool. The kids might like that. But yeah, I know PTA board is actually meeting tonight, and maybe that will be discussed at that meeting. Okay, and then a suggestion, can we get an all-school Google Classroom for things like the art videos? Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm writing a note to myself. Take that back. So that a place where we can have all of our enrichment videos in one place, because also Miss McCarthy, the 4th and 5th grade music teacher, has been posting some videos for our students who have their instruments with them and are practicing instruments. So let me work on that, or find someone to delegate it to. We'll see. What can the PTA do to help? I think that's a great reminder that one of the things that makes Glenview run so well and have such a strong community is our PTA, and all the work that the PTA board, and then sort of the behind the scenes that everybody else involved in PTA. We really do have a lot of resources in our community to help each other out. So there's an email, PTA president. You can send emails there, or through Constella would be a good way to communicate. All right. So I have 2 more things on my list. I don't see anything else in the chat function, but I did want to share a resource with you. I don't know how many people have heard of Mindful Schools, but it's an organization that's been around for at least 10 years. And they work with students and schools around developing a mindfulness practice. And they have a series of mindfulness videos for students that are free and online. And I just wanted to share that with families as another resource. This experience is asking us to use every single tool that we have to not sort of lose ourselves in despair. I don't mean to be extra dark and dramatic, but this is hard, and I think it's important for us to name that. And I'll say again that I truly believe that our priorities are our well-being over any academic achievement that students might be missing because of the break in our school year. So that's just a really good organization, and it's free. So I wanted to let you know about it. You can find those videos at mindfulschools.org. And they have a series, I think it's 10 mindfulness classes for kids. And then I wanted to close it out just with some appreciations. First of all, I really wanted to name the Vice President of Communications for PTA. Has a really big job. And, it's obviously communication is key to keeping a community together. That has the same Latin root, right? And it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of tact. It takes a lot of perspective and being able to think through, what is information that other people need to have. And it also takes some responsiveness. When you're the communication person, you're not really in control of the message that needs to go out. So I guess part of my appreciation to the Vice President of Communications is also just acknowledging that, like, I can be very last minute about my, like, oh, I should let people know, blah, blah, blah. And she always steps up and gets things out there. So thank you for that. And then I already called out the PTA. The PTA board is continuing to meet during this crisis and really putting our students first, and thinking through how can we support our community through this crisis. And I deeply appreciate that. And I guess I already said I so appreciate the feedback that parents have given either directly to teachers or to me, and then I've passed that feedback on to teachers. Just thank you so much for that. And that's really all I have to share. I wish I had more news, but I think the news is it's sunny today, which is great, and we're just gonna keep doing this until we don't have to anymore. So thank you all. I'll check in chat one more time before I end the meeting. Yeah, there's just a lot of chats about how thankful and grateful we all are to be part of this amazing community. Yeah, I knew I was lucky to be the principal of Glenview before, and now I really, really know it, because again, it's for all of us. It was like getting the rug pulled out from under us, and we're all sort of like getting our grounding and figuring this out. And I really couldn't be with a more supportive and wonderful community to do this work. So thank you. I am going to end the meeting unless there's any other questions, comments. The final comment is the weekly check-ins are helpful. I'm happy to do them. Oh, did I forget to record it? I knew that was going to happen. Shoot. Oh, no, I did record it. Okay, yay. Sorry. It's the curse of like chairing the meeting that you're also, running. Anyway, okay. So I will post the recording on Constella, and I might try and find a better time. I know it's going to be impossible to find a time that works for everybody, but I did have a few parents reach out and say this is like prime work time, or their kids are doing a Zoom meeting or whatever. So I'll try and I'll do it again next Wednesday, but maybe not at 9:30. So if you have a very strong opinion about that, you can email me a time and I'll post it on Constella. So thank you so much. I hope that you guys are well, and give hugs and and hellos to all your kids.